Next is from Jared Aviat. Omos experiment did not work is the title. Greetings, K100 fam. Hope all is well. Looks like the Omos experiment has failed in WWE. As myself and Conan had thought, the guy just could not come across as a compelling character on the show due to his goofy facial expressions and mannerisms, as well as lackluster ring work. MVP tried, but could not make this guy compelling. Harland with Joe Gacy was awful also, as his scary bodyguard role produced tumbleweeds every week on NXT. My question for the crew is the stereotypical old school big monster heel character passe in wrestling nowadays, or are the wrong people playing these roles, which is why they aren't successful? What can be done to change up such a presentation? Thank you. Regards, Jared.
They just got to be able to know how to work. Like the thing that kills these big monster guys is like Omos. It just comes across as too green, and the fans can see that. You know, it's just he's just not ready. He's just not ready to be a regular character on that show. You know, he's green. So I don't think it's like there's big men that know how to work, but when you don't know how to work, it kills the whole thing. What do you think, Conan?
Yeah, right. Because you look at the big men like a Big John Studd, he could work. Sid.
Right.
All those guys back then. And that's the problem. They're getting the wrong guys, and they're very green, and you can see it.
Right.
Sorry. Next question is from Matthew Ince, and the title is Edge. Hey, K100, quick question about Edge. In 2022, Edge's acting career took a nice positive turn when he was cast as Zeus in the upcoming Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief TV show adaptation. I know Conan is counting the seconds until its release. Only problem is that since being cast, Disney has publicly admitted to losing a fortune and are now in a big cost-cutting process, much like Paramount and Warner Brothers. Good luck with that made-up $1 billion TV deal, Tony Khan, he puts in parentheses. And he says, so the chances of the Percy Jackson show making it a second season or even making it to TV at all are very low. My question is, how do you think this changes Edge's retirement plans? He has said before that his contract runs out in October 2023, and he's feeling the bumps and bruises more than ever, despite a very reduced schedule. Does Edge re-sign with WWE for another few years, or is it time to go off and enjoy retirement in that killer mountain house of his? Well, he's right. He's right on target about Disney because they've had some major flops in a row.
Right. I mean, I don't know. He's just. I mean, he didn't he re-sign for didn't he get on a $3 million a year deal or something like that?
Well, yeah, but
it's going to keep taking. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say it says here it runs out in October though.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Tony, you got any comment on this?
No, I just think that, he'll ask for maybe less of a work schedule like Undertaker was doing at the end, maybe once a year, maybe during summer WrestleMania, and they'll probably say yeah because people still dig him, and that way he can do outside projects, and I don't think he's retiring anytime soon, to tell you the truth. And yesterday he just started an angle with Grayson Waller, and I don't know if it ended because he beat him, but I don't think he's retiring yet. I have nothing but nothing to base that on, just except I don't think he will, because he can get what he wants. He can get any schedule he wants. Yeah.
Next is from Jonathan Wood. This is entitled Seth Rollins Wardrobe Malfunction. Hey, fellas. Recently, Seth Rollins hopped a barrier on his way to the ring and tore his pants from zipper. WWE managed to cover it by shooting close-ups during his promo, but still shots got out, one of which I've attached here. My question is, have either of you ever had a major wardrobe malfunction before, during, or after a match? Or were you around someone that has? And would you all just go with it and own it or try to cover yourself? Would things like that lead to a good ball breaking backstage? Thanks again for all the content, and your addition of Larry Dowse to the show is a huge positive, even with his constant jabs at Disco. Y'all should do the same with the Juicy Seal if old Juicy Nick can't make the show regularly. Thanks again, John Wood. Does anyone want to see Seth's torn pants?
Sure, why not?
All right. There we go. That's a bad tear right there.
Oh, yeah, it's a bad tear. I've never had a wardrobe malfunction. The funniest wardrobe it wasn't even a wardrobe malfunction. When we were in England, in Manchester, doing a show for the WWE. There was a spot where Brett was supposed to come down for a run-in, and he was late. And when he came out for a spot, his fly was undone. Okay, and he came down the ring and did the spot, and afterwards he's walking around the ring shaking people's hands with his fly completely hanging, like his jeans were completely zipped down. And when he came by, I think like me and Jeremy had a wizard, hey, zip your pants up. And he had to zip his pants up. So, but I haven't seen any wardrobe malfunction. I mean, I've never had a wardrobe malfunction. So,
anything on that, Conan? You ever had?
I used to wear boxers, and they slipped twice in a match, so then I had to end up sewing them to my pants.
Okay, the next one is from Jared Avia, number 2. Well, that'll do it.
And this guy also had said something about Larry Davis being a positive. Well, he will soon be a negative if he keeps missing the show, because he can't be. If he keeps missing the show, he can't be a part of the show. You know. Right. So we may be looking for a new Spanish commentator.
I did hear.
Did he ever get? Yeah. Did he ever get back to you?
It was a personal situation, and but he will discuss it when he records with us if you would like him to.
It was a personal situation. He couldn't respond to any messages or text messages.
I don't know, but that's what he said. Yeah, he said it in the Discord and a DM.
Interesting.
So Jared Aviot's second email. I think you know what that means, buddy.
Suspension.
Zoey Stark is the title. Hey, K100 fam. Hope everyone is doing well. Just wanted to ask about Zoey Stark. Why do you think that of all people, Zoey Stark has been given a chance in the spotlight with this current feud with Becky Lynch? Her acting and promos are some of the worst I've ever seen, and her performance on last week's Raw solidified that. Just seeing Zoey standing next to Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville on Raw, but knowing that out of all three of them, Zoey is getting the big push, made me very dismayed at the booking of Mr. Levesque. Do you think this push for Zoey Stark will amount to anything? And how would you guys book her if you had free reign? I would have made her a silent bodyguard, tough character. Curious as to your thoughts. All the best, Jared.
I don't really. I mean, she didn't. I haven't given any thought into her because she hadn't impressed me that much so far. But I might. But who knows?
I'm kind of like Disco. I haven't really seen anything big out of her. Obviously, somebody likes her because she's getting a lot of TV time next to Trish. Mm-hmm. So they must see something in her that we're not seeing. And hey, we don't work there and we don't know. But just what I've seen off of TV, she does not impress me, or do I want to see what she's doing? You know, and how would I book her if I had free reign? I may not even book her. How about that? Boom.
From David Bentz, this is titled "Kim Wasn't Ready to Rumble." Dear K100 crew, my question is in relation to the WWE Ready to Rumble film. I know that there were a few roles meant to parody actual on-air characters like Joe Pantoliano as Titus, who was the Eric Bischoff of the film, but I was curious if there was any reason why Kimberly Page wasn't in the film and instead they created the Sasha character to lead the real Nitro Girls. Any WCW fan knows Kimberly was well known as the Nitro Girl. Also, was there any funny stories from filming that movie that you guys can remember? Thanks for taking my question, David from Sacramento.
Just when I was filming it, I was like, this movie's terrible. Okay. And it's the first time I'd ever spent time in LA. Okay. We stayed in downtown LA, and actually, we were in an earthquake. Like a 3-point something. So I was on the 18th floor, but it's the first earthquake I've ever been in where the building shook, right? But the one thing I did notice about downtown LA, it's like, this is 25 years ago, is the homeless people were like, they were like, you could tell there was like a mental illness, homeless problem in LA. Because in downtown LA, I'll never forget, we're driving to the thing one time, and there was a guy having a sword fight with a parking meter. Okay, like he was like, he was attacking the parking meter. It had like a plastic sword. Stuff like, like these people were just like, this is weird. But I can't imagine what it looks like today. That was 25 years ago. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just led me to believe that, like, doing that movie, I was like, there is no way I could ever like there's no way I could do movies because there's so much just sitting around doing nothing all day long. And it's so boring. But like, Conan, did you agree with that?
Yeah, it was super boring.
Yeah. I'm like, we'd be in the trailer for like 12 hours.
Movie sets and TV sets are very boring. There's a lot of reshoots. You got to wait for other people to show up. You got to fix the lighting. It's boring.
Yeah, and if it's going long, you're late in the day. You may have spent like 15 hours there, and you were supposed to shoot late in the day, and you never got to it, and had to come back the next day and do it. You literally did nothing. So I was like, this is torture. I couldn't stand it, to be honest with you. But it was funny, like the amount of people we saw there.
And we weren't even in a lot of scenes, and we were bored.
No, but we met Marilyn Manson showed up on the set one day because we're known to who was he
Rose
dating?
McGowan.
Rose McGowan, right? And who was the chick that was dating
Courtney Cox?
Courtney Cox showed up, yeah. So it's like we got to see like some celebrities and stuff. So
I think you make the story better and say Michael Jackson showed up.
Michael Jackson. And then Dice Clay showed up.
Yeah, Dice was there.
And Nicholson showed up.
He told us a bunch of poems.
Right.
Right.
And Nicholson invited us to the Lakers game.
Yeah,
right.
Warren Beatty was there too.
So keep all that in.
Yeah.